of 4 videos in Photoshop showing you how to make a kaleidoscope with one image. We will use different tools. We're going to use the flip, different transform tools, flip, mirror, and rotate. I'll first show you a couple examples of what this is. So this is the original image here of the candy, and the result for a kaleidoscope is this. My second image, just the 2 flames together, and the kaleidoscope image. The third one, that is the result from this illustration, the kaleidoscope image. This was one section of the panel, the solar system, and this is the kaleidoscope result. And this started out with just 1/4 of this panel of the flowers, and this is the result. So we are starting with this image, which is one image. Make sure that you have a lot of different shapes and colors in the image when you start. And the first thing we're going to do is crop the image. So I'm going to use the crop tool, and I want to cut it in half. So this is 14 inches. You'll see my crop moves all the way around the sides here. All these panels allow me to crop. I'm going to click and hold and drag this in. If I do this, you can see my width there. I want it right at 7, which should be at half. There, 7 inches. Make sure that you have this delete cropped pixels checked. That way this is going to be deleted. It will not be in the history anymore of this image. You can't go back and get it. To crop, I can double click on this or click on my enter key on my keyboard. Double click so you can see what I'm doing. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer. Any of these panels over here can be found in the Windows menu. And you'll see that the only one I have selected is layers. So the layers panel is open. This plus at the bottom is for adding a new layer. So when I click with my move tool, grab this layer and drag it down to the plus. See how the little fist is there? Now it's going to make another layer, a duplicate of that layer above. So here's my copy of that layer. The next thing I want to do is I want to take that copy and pull it over to the side so that I have a duplicate right next to this picture. So I want to make this canvas size twice as big, only twice as wide, not as high. I'm going to go to Image and change my canvas size to twice as big. I don't want to have to measure this. So I'm going to use a percentage and change not the height. I don't want it higher. I want it only wider to 200%. And don't check relative. We're not going to change any relative right to left. Click on this, which is where my canvas will be added. I'm going to cement this side. Nothing's changing here. I'm going to add canvas only to the right. And I'm adding double the width, 200%. There's my width. Now I'm going to move. You see this, I have only this is highlighted, this background copy layer. That's what I'm going to move to the right, to this section right here. I have my move tool selected. Hold down Shift so that you don't flop this image up and down. Hold Shift on your keyboard and grab and drag that over. Let me get rid of this. Hold Shift. Make sure, see that little white line? Make sure in the center that you don't have that white line there. You want to make sure it's kind of tight right up against it. If you have a little extra here, we can delete that later. Now, before I do something else, I want to merge this, but I want to also have this flipped around the other way. So this is my layer that I'm on. I'm going to go up to my edit because I'm making a transform. This is one of the things we're going to be doing is flipping. So I go down to transform and I'm going to flip not upside down, but right to left. That is a flip horizontal. See what that does? Now it just mirrors this here. See what interesting patterns you get in here? Now I want to merge this down into this layer. To do that, I'm going to go to my options in the layers panel right here. Click on this, go down to merge down, and it merges into this layer. Before we move on, I want to save this as a Photoshop document. Photoshop document will allow you to save lots of layers, lots of information without destroying any information. So go up to File, Save As, and let's save this as Flowers Test and not JPEG, Photoshop document, and click Save. And that's part one. Go on to Kaleidoscope part 2.